Tough place to pitch.
Yeah, he actually pitched better outside of Coors than he did.
I think most guys
home.
do, yeah. Closer to sea level.
Actually, I apologize. I was wrong. He actually had better numbers at Coors than on the. It's a little surprising. He's a quick worker too, just like Tarek Skubal. Down the left field line, a curving foul.
Zoom in, just there it was. I saw the wiggle. Get some torque. And yet he throws hard.
Reyes with a drive right center field. That is down. A leadoff single for Victor Reyes to start the Tigers offense. High and away, 1-0 to Harold Cap.
And yet here a guy is given a leadoff hit. He's thrown a lot of fastballs like we predicted.
In the air to left field, no problem for Charlie Culberson. Speaking of Culberson and the Texas defense, it's brought to you by Marygrove Awnings. Culberson's on the COVID list, and Willie Castro inserted into center field. First pitch strike to him.
AJ asked him when he realized he was going to play him, because he could have had Reyes stay in center.
Just foul down the left field line, forcing Ramon Santiago to backpedal a little bit there in the third base coach's box. Up high, 1-2.
As the hitter, kind of tough questions.
Counts even, 2-2.
Catcher a chance.
Castro swings and misses. Down he goes, and there are two away. Couldn't hold up 0-1. There's a bullet to left and another single for Miguel Cabrera. Reyes will test the arm of Culberson and win that race to third base as he goes head first. Runners at the
that he's being called up, you know, on the other side of it, but it was a matter of days.
So in today's Miller Lite Report, first of all, we wish Austin Meadows all the best as he recovers from COVID, but that minor league career will finish up like this: a .291 average, 30 bombs, 130 RBIs. But his big league debut is on tap, and he's going to be a good big leaguer in time.
Sometimes a little bit easier said than done, right, Trevor, considering what everybody feels about Riley Green and the spring. Trev, get used to it. We're going to be talking about Riley Green a lot, and rightfully so. Thanks, buddy. We appreciate it very much. I thought it was the best player Detroit had in spring training. Granted, it was just spring training, but he was so dialed in. Grossman pops it up right center field. Taveras takes control.
Well, it's an exciting time. Another young prospect that the organization thinks highly of.
Always say, Jack, he's going to experience a lot of firsts, but you're going to experience a lot of failure too.
Yep, he will. Yep. And that's to be expected. But, you know, if this kid is everything we thought he could do right away, but look at what his defense is. It is as solid as anybody. AJ addressed he's going to start. Who knows if that's where he ends up.
Jonathan Scope broke his bat. It's foul. Waits on a 1-2. Fouls it away. But with Toledo batting .274 with a little bit of power.
Baseball team, and hopefully this kid will get that momentum going.
You saw his good friend Spencer Torkelson. It's up high, 3-2. Torkelson had reminded me, well, I did once. My fresh coming right here to Jonathan Scope. Got a piece.
I could tell you my recollection. Well, it's been a good battle here for Scope. There's another one, so wearing him down a little bit. You like to see him get back in this game, so he's pulling for some offense here.
Struck him out. Tigers go 1-2-3 in the second.
Let them experience the minor leagues, he says, but it comes at a risk. The manager's got to be willing to let that guy fail or allow him to fail at the risk of losing a ball game. And he said, we can't really, you know, my thoughts are, well, with this team where they are right now, maybe this is the best time to let him. If you're ever going to let a guy like Tarek Subel, now I agree with AJ, that should happen in the minor leagues. And maybe that changed, but for a guy that's already here and has never been allowed to fail, I think they need to get themselves through these adverse times. That was my thoughts.
That's because we're always looking at pitch count, too. Let's face it. As soon as
a lot of things come into fact.
He's at 100. When are you going to take him out? The mindset has to change as Torkelson fouls it back. Jack, you had
early in my career, I was sent up and down a couple times. But I realized what I had to accomplish at AAA to get back to the big leagues. And they allowed me to fail. As his career progresses, his arm strength, his body is not going to always respond the way he is right now as a young, you know, and be able to navigate a good lineup. Those are the challenges.
It's 1-1 to Tucker Barnhart.
I'll tell you this too, it's awful hard if you're AJ, or do I protect him the way everybody always has, because not really back into this game. You know, that's my thought. And it was tough the one year that we didn't score a lot of runs. I remember 1990 was one of those years.
Barnhart waits on the 2-2. Grounds it foul. You also can't help but ignore the record.
Maybe this is the time to let them get through these things.
It's a touch and feel.
It is. It's a tough thing to do. And the way you want it to.
Barnhart strikes out. 2 up. Has the other single. Reyes takes it outside. Swung on and missed. Texas plays him to pull, and he pops it up right field. Adolis Garcia's got it. The Tigers go one.
Descendants ever present on Negro Leagues weekend here at Comerica Park. His grandson, James Dubois, throughout the ceremonial Negro Leagues weekend this afternoon. And we also heard Shep tell us earlier that Cecil Fielder on hand to receive the award named after.
I think they're so good looking. They really are.
You can put it on the wall if you want to, Shep, but whenever I put mine on, I wear it with pride. It's not only looks good, but it's a feel-good sort of thing as well.
It's a great point. So just get 2. Stearns played 18 seasons, by the way, in the Negro Leagues, and was a 5-time Negro League All-Star. Bob Kendricks does such a great job of educating us on those great players. Willie Castro ahead in the count 2-1.
I saw Willie there kind of talking to himself.
He struck out on that pitch right there, and now it's 2-2. Trying to remind himself a little bit. There's a good looking Detroit Stars jersey right there. Castro the other way. Inside the bag for a base hit and maybe more. He will dig for second. The throw not in time. Willie Castro's got himself a 1-out double here in the 4th. Swung on and missed. Chased a slider up here.
Yeah, even at his ripe old age of 19 right now, he's able to find.
Up high, and it's 1-2 to Miguel Cabrera. Swung on and missed. Nasty pitch.
It'll never happen. It's, you know, a time in the past.
Baez into center field. Plenty of room for Taveras. Tigers threaten, fail to score. Special, as it usually is. Passing of the bat ceremony that took place early off the Tigers' 5th, and that'll be Jonathan Scope and Spencer Torkelson. Into the shift, Marcus Semien retires Grossman. Scope struck out his first time up and looks at strike 1. Jon Gray for Texas. This is his 30th different park with which he has pitched.
Yeah, he was spotted with a 3-run lead, and his hitter is to retire early in a count. It's like you're making this guy's job even easier.
Duran off the spin move to get Schoop.
Boy, does he have an arm, huh, Shep?
2 outs for Spencer Torkelson, who takes it high. We were mentioning Jon Gray pitching here in this beautiful ballpark for the first time in his career. Colorado, from which he pitched for 7 years, and Minnesota. 1-1 is a little low, and it's 2-1 to Spencer.
But I wouldn't be surprised if Gray spins one here.
Big cut and a miss.
Which he did. Probably come back with it again.
Instead, he goes with the fastball and strikes him out. 10-pitch inning for Jon. Low A right now as the Tigers bat in the bottom of the 6th, trailing 7-0. Let's bring in our teammate in our.
Like AJ was talking about, he was very impactful down there in spring training and did everything he could to make the ball club. And they said also to put all the expectations on Riley Green. It's just let him come up, and if he provides energy and rubs off.
Danny, I mentioned earlier, and I got to believe you agree with it, that it's just so important for a young guy to get that first hit out of the way.
How much did you and your young Tigers feel it when you first came up?
Yeah, I did. I didn't know what.
I was a 5th round. It wasn't like I was, way up there. I had a lot of guys picked in front of me, and I was out of college. I think it's different for a high school kid because
there, and you've been reading about him for several years. I don't think that I had the same kind of hope he does, and it looks like he's ready to do that.
Sure doesn't act like a high school kid, does he? Or at least.
And therefore, that's just carried over. His work ethic has become something that everybody admires. And all those things.
In spring training, I mean, they felt like they belong as young as they are, 21, 22 years old. And still, they were just as comfortable as.
Danny, I remember, and I call it the waves of players that come up. You and I were in a wave that came. Some of the young pitchers, they're all coming up in a wave, and they're going to go through their growing pains.
Tigers go quietly on 3 ground ball outs. Dan thanks his
strikeouts tonight, and it's been a darn good one.
He has retired 8 in a row until that bloop single to left from Willie Castro, his 2nd hit of the night.
Well, for a guy that wasn't originally off man on, maybe this is the inning the Tigers do some damage.
Cabrera has one of the Tigers' 4 hits. Charlie Culberson in left field. Fly ball center field. Tavares is there.
A little bit off the end of the bat.
Fastball away.
There's the cookie. He's sitting on a slider probably, and he's hoping it's a long swing.
Outside, 2-1.
Good take there.
Happens when you're hitting a $188 on the year so far. Inside, 3-1. Big swing and foul tips it away, 3-2. Cued at foul.
Change up. Haven't seen many of those from Jon Gray today.
Right side, base hit.
Shep, that was just an excellent at bat for Javi Baez. He was patient.
He gets it, and he's willing to point the finger at himself as well. Grossman fouls away the first pitch.
Those innings of this ball game that they're applying some pressure on the pitcher.
Now 0-2 to Robbie Grossman.
The struggles.
They play him to pull, and he pops it foul.
Should get out of here.
This one's tapped foul. Outside, 1-2.
I saw thinking Woody Woodward, the manager, letting this guy in this situation in the first place. He's got nobody warming up in the bullpen. Well,
Grossman strikes out, and there are 2 away. It's a big weekend. Here's Jonathan Schoop. He's 0 for 2. He struck out and grounded out, and he's behind 0-1. Willie Castro. Another swing and a miss, 0-2. Just outside, and it's 2-2 to Jonathan Schoop. Schoop lifts one to center field. Taveras is there, and the Tigers strand a couple. Well, we mentioned Cecil Fielder. He is one of 4 to ever.